And to my fellow recipients, it's an honor to share this great day with all of you. It's hard to believe that almost 40 years have passed
since he graduated from law school there, but you could hear them chanting, "Pay your writers." Boston University students heckled Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav yesterday as he delivered the 2023 commencement speech. That chant of "Pay your writers" came as the chants and booing started even before he took the stage, when during the introduction, BU's president referenced Zaslav's, quote, "passion for documenting and sharing the human story on a global scale." Yeah, the heckling began then. It is now day 21 of the writers' strike against the television and film studios. A main issue, paying the writers more fairly in the new streaming world for those very human stories they were referencing. This on the eve of Warner Brothers Discovery's rebrand of its former HBO Max streaming service. It will now be known simply as Max, and it is chock full of those passionate human stories writers have created. As streaming disrupts the way we consume entertainment and how those who create it get paid, let's bring in Marc DeBevoise. He is founder and launched CBS All Access, which eventually became Paramount Plus, and he is now the CEO of streaming technology company Brightcove. Very passionate time for writers and for the substance that holds up streaming. What do you make of all that you're seeing?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Liz. I really appreciate it. Look, I mean, the writer's strike is a unique moment here in time. You know, they happen to have timed it what I think is probably the wrong time for the writers to be striking, as the large media companies that are now, evolving their streaming services, they're running into cost pressure. And that cost pressure that's being put on those streaming services means they don't want as much content right now, and they don't need as much content right now as they're trying to save money. So I think it's going to be a rough road for the next, let's call it few weeks, few months, as these things start to evolve. But I do think that the major media companies are probably looking at this as an okay time to go through this fight relative to the nature of what the spending is that they need to do.
It's almost a catch-22 because there are cost pressures. They need more eyeballs. They need more subs. And therefore, to grab that, you need the great shows like Succession, like Billions, which was interrupted twice last week by picketers. And of course, the unions that are not part of the Writers Guild refused to cross the line. So you're not going to get that content that attracts the eyeballs, right?
Yeah, look, I fundamentally believe you need the human element to that. I think AI is actually going to help evolve storytelling and help enable writers to write more and more diverse stories, but you're going to need those writers actually working at those companies. So I do believe it is going to come around and be settled over time. But I think what it demonstrates is that cost savings that those big media companies need to be achieved some way, whether it's going to be trimming content spending on a per episode basis, trimming the amount of content, but more likely, and part of why I took the job I did at Brightcove, was to help them save on the technology spend. They've each gone out and built their own bespoke, sets of platforms to go out and launch these big streaming services at the top 6 or 7 companies. But the answer is a lot of that technology could be outsourced to large, vendors like ourselves who can really deliver the size and scale and capabilities for them to enable them to save that money.
Which is what everyone from the BBC to Harvard University to Roku is doing. They are coming to Brightcove because you are a platform that creates and then distributes that content so they don't have to. But tell me exactly how you feel it's going, because if they're cutting costs, won't they just look for some Gen Xer and say, can you do it?
Yeah, so the difficulty is these are big and complex systems. Streaming is not just one piece of technology. It's a dozen things stitched together, from ingest and encoding all the way to play out and the analytics that go on top of that and all the pieces in between. And it's not a simple system. And we've built one over effectively a decade or more of being a public company, and also 17 years as a company since it was launched. We have reliability, scalability, all the history that's gone with it. And we've done it for major companies. We stream it, we do it for AMC, we do it for BBC. And then we also do it for enterprises, not just media companies.
How do you prove to them, to your customers, that you've increased viewership and there's a return on investment? Yeah,
so the return we give to a major media company when we go in and help them restructure their infrastructure for streaming is we help them save money on those costs. So we just announced the largest new customer deal in history. We can't name the company yet because they're still working through saving the money that we're going to save them in the first quarter. And that's a mid-6-figure style deal that they were spending meaningfully more than that, like 5 to 10x that on their infrastructure spending. So helping someone save 5 to 10x the costs on their infrastructure is massive. And we can really help those companies. And we don't believe it's just 6 or 7 streamers like we all talk about here, because they're the ones with the big content in those areas. But it's 100+ companies around the world that are major streamers that can be helped by saving that money.
Well, I'm not going to ask you right out, but is it ESPN? I mean, there is word that Disney is going to finally, worst kept secret, really make ESPN a standalone streaming service. And that may be a real shock for Disney, because people had it shoved down their throats, whether they wanted it or not, in basic cable. Right. And now you have to actually actively go out and pay for that.
Yeah, they've been talking about that for years, right? Trying to carve back the sports rights that they have, or carve out the rights that they need to be able to take it direct to consumer. I think they will eventually do that. Well, also not removing it from the bundle. They have smart people around that company. I think they understand, the steps that they're taking to be able to maximize that. But they, look, our view is that there's going to be more growth. Streaming is a growth industry. Even despite the stories, everyone wants to say it's changed. What's happened is it's actually slowed down here in the U.S. in the big streamers, growth rates. They've gone from double digits to single digits. But globally, we're talking about 66% of internet traffic is video streaming, up from 55% last year. The minutes streamed is up 14% year over year, 21 to 22. It is a high double-digit growing industry globally. And so we do believe that in the long run, it's going to be a growth industry continually. It's just in the U.S., you've seen this slowdown from what was effectively a big spike in investment over the COVID period.
So you short TV screens. Oh, my goodness. No, we need you. Don't get rid of your TV. Great to have you, Marc. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Marc
Really
DeBevoise, please come back and let us know when you can name that big client.
We will very soon.
Interesting to watch the stock react. Thank you.
I hope so, too.